Now let's go to the fourth method, which is the survey and interviews. Collecting surveys responses from individuals through written or digital forms. Interviews also when directly asking questions to individuals to gather detailed responses. Excellent for asking questions about perception, opinion, ideas, level of satisfaction. Less accurate for measuring behavior because sometimes people are shy, sometimes people they have a bad mood when they are given the data. Sample should be representative of the whole population. And most importantly, big problem in this method, very low response rate. People are not interested to talk to you. Structures of the surveys. It could be very structured, precisely worded with the range of predetermined responses, A, B, C, D, that the respondent can select from, for example. Everyone asks exactly the same question in exactly the same way, given exactly the same choices. So this is a structured, and usually it's about surveys and uh, 1 to 10, 1 to 5, A, B, C, D, and so forth. Also, we have the semi-structured. Ask same general set of questions, but answers to the questions are predominantly open-ended. So you have now this field or these empty paragraph, and say, okay, tell us what's make you happy. Tell us what's make you satisfied, and what is the issues, complaints. And this is also will add value to the surveys. Sometimes the survey itself is both. So you have the structured questions, and at the end you leave this open question saying, what else? Very dependable as well and very good source of data. Let's take it one more step to compare the structured versus semi-structured surveys. The structured, harder to develop because you have to have very comprehensive set of questions that cover, for example, all area of employee satisfaction. Easier to complete because you will send the link to everybody and then in a few minutes they can reply back to you. Easier to analyze because nowadays you can use many different software that can aggregate all the responses to a charts and conclusion at the end of the day. Very easy to produce. More efficient when working with large numbers. So you have 1,000 people in the organization or even customers. You send to 10,000 of customers and say, tell us more by using this link. Meanwhile, semi-structured is easier to develop because there's a lot of blanks all over the place, open-ended questions. More difficult to complete by the end user, burdensome for people to complete as a self-administrated questionnaires. People struggle, people they don't have time. And instead of giving you the full picture, they will just like write two names or two words. Harder to analyze, but provide a rich source of data. The problem is interpretation of open-ended responses subject to bias. So it depends on who is the person who's really collecting all these open-ended responses, try to make sense out of it and write a report based on that. When using mail, phone, internet surveys, it's self-administered questionnaires distributed by mail, email, websites. Administered questionnaires common in the development context. Consider accessibility before you decide to through a survey to people. So reliability of postal services if you want to depend on postal mail. Turn around town, does it take maybe 2 months to receive everybody through the mail? We are seeing less and less surveys are done by email. The majority of the surveys right now are done through the internet and then phone. But when you finish the service, they said, okay, stay with us, answer the service satisfaction 1 to 5. You answer 5, this is the maximum, and you hang up the phone. Considered bias, uh, what population segment has telephone access or internet access? If the city that you are in, let's say in Africa, they don't have such internet access, so by default, you're not gonna have a good sample. Literacy issues and often issues in languages and translation, especially in the region when they have a mix of different background, different languages. You might be surprised that people are not uh, answering your questions in full. So now let's conclude the survey and interviews, starting with the survey advantages and challenges. Related to the advantages of a survey, it is best when you want to know what people think, believe, or perceive. Only they can tell you that by themselves. The challenges are people may not accurately recall their behavior or may be reluctant to reveal their behavior if it is illegal or stigmatized, related, for example, to drug use. So they're not going to tell you that I'm a drug user, for example. Or the second point is what people think they do or say they do is not always the same as what they actually do. So we see this one in the employee survey. So to make the boss happy and to increase, the score for the department, I will always say I'm super happy. Check, check, check the whole thing, and now the boss is very happy with the results, so he will not be able to uh, revenge if the results were so low. Now let's talk about the advantage and challenges for the interviews. So advantages often semi-structured because you need this discussion to happen. So by default, it's semi-structured. Used to explore complex issue in depth. For example, divorce. You are doing interviews on why divorce is getting higher in certain areas of the country. Forgiving of mistakes. So unclear questions can be clarified during the interview and changed for subsequent interviews. Can provide evaluators with a intuitive sense of the situation. Related to the challenges in doing the interviews, it could be expensive way of collecting data, labor intensive, so you have to repeat this interview 20 times per day, and time consuming. Number two, selective hearing on the part of interviewers may miss information that does not conform to pre-existing beliefs. We call this one paradigm. So the paradigm is so strong of this person. He only see what he wants to see, and this is a big issue for us to depend on this interviewer. Cultural sensitivity, i.e., gender issues.